right, today we are going to make Toll House pie on this segment of A Slice of Heaven. And I've got all my ingredients out, but I'm going to first get my pie crust out of the freezer. Usually when I'm making pies, I like to make 6 or so pie crusts, and I have them in the foil pie tins, and they're all set to go then when I either get an order for a pie or the family's coming home and we want to make a pie. So I'm going to get the pie crust out of the freezer. I'm using a 9-inch pie shell. And in the time that my filling is made, the pie shell will have softened up a bit and it will be all set to be filled. So with this recipe of Toll House pie, we start with 2 eggs, again at room temperature. And I've learned to crack my eggs just one at a time, and that in a small bowl. And then that sometimes prevents the eggshells from getting, accidentally in your larger. So I like to crack them separately and then pour them in your bowl. So we're going to first beat the 2 eggs until they're foamy before we add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, that's just until they're foamy, and then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of flour, which I already have all measured out, a 1/2 cup of white sugar, granulated sugar, and a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. And then we're just going to beat that until it's all incorporated well. The next thing we're going to do is add 2 sticks of melted butter, and I melted this ahead of time, and we're going to have that at room temperature. So we're going to add this gradually to the mixture of eggs and sugars and flour. And you want your mixer on a little bit slower speed so the butter doesn't splash all over. And as you add that in, you can stir it a bit. Okay, so this part, the liquid part is done now. So we're just going to take the beaters off. And to this mixture, you can just stir it just a little bit, so it should look like this consistency. And then we're going to add 1 cup of chocolate chips. And I've chopped my walnuts here, and about a cup of walnuts, and then mix that in. So when it's all mixed in, then it's ready to go into your pie crust. And the pie crust is ready for this wonderful buttery, creamy chocolate chip walnut mixture. This is a really rich dessert, and typically I would cut my pies into 6 to 8 pieces, but this 9-inch pie will easily serve 10 people. And when they see this little piece of pie, they're going to think, wow, she didn't cut me a very big piece of pie. But as they eat it, they're going to be happy that it wasn't too large because of the wonderful richness. So you can just get that smoothed out, and then it's going to be ready for the oven. We bake this Toll House pie at 325 degrees for 1 hour, and when that hour is up, it's an electric oven, and when the hour is up, your pie will be nice and brown on top. And it'll be a little bit, not really runny, but soft. So you're going to want it to cool down and set up before you serve it to your guests. And when you're ready for your dessert, this is what your pie is going to look like. So I made this yesterday. It's good to make it even a day in advance so that it has a chance to set up. If you want to put it in the refrigerator, or you can even freeze it, and when you take it out of the freezer after it has thawed, it's good then to just heat it in the microwave for just 10 to 15 seconds just to heat it up to take the chill off. So I'm going to cut a piece, and then I have some whipped cream that I've already whipped, and we're going to top it with some whipped cream. In this, my third episode, you can see that the Elderbrooks, do like chocolate. So we kind of have a little chocolate theme going here. But we do enjoy desserts, especially for special occasions. And this is one of those desserts that is special. My daughter graduated from college a week ago with her master's degree in public health, so our celebration dessert was actually a Toll House pie. So we're going to put a piece of pie on our plate, and I'm going to get out the whipping cream. And you can either use, whipped cream. I prefer the real whipped cream over something like Cool Whip that just doesn't do these wonderful desserts justice, I don't think. And if you have a piping bag, then you can just make some little flowers out of your whipped cream. Otherwise, you can just put a spoonful or two on your pie. We're just going to do a couple little flowers like that. We are all set to serve. My husband, who's going to be having a piece of Toll House pie today for his dessert. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of A Slice of Heaven. And again, if you need a nice dessert, and this is actually quite simple to make ahead. If you don't make your pie crust homemade, I have friends who also use pie crust from the freezer section, and if your pie crust is all set to go in your freezer, then it's a lot easier than just to make your filling, and you have a nice dessert in really just a few minutes. So from A Slice of Heaven, until next time, happy cooking.